This is Jordan Hill with VeteranNews.com. I'm here today with East Ellijay Chief of Police Larry Callahan. And I know Thursday during the floods, you went through a pretty big ordeal. If you would just talk about it with us a little bit.
Okay, we were off of Riverside Drive, which is a street that runs parallel with the Kankakee River. We've got a couple private residences and then several townhomes, and generally when we have a flood over here, that's where we're going to have to go to. You know, this flood in particular, it came up really fast. I've never saw the water come up that fast, and I've worked through a lot of floods between here and Ellijay, and I've never seen the water rise quite as fast as that rose. We'd went out and evacuated the townhomes, had some people who'd gone back, and you know, it takes a little while. You know, this isn't an event that was expected. You know, it's not like a snowstorm or even a tropical storm that you have a lot of advance notice. This just came out of nowhere, so the folks, they weren't ready to leave. You know, so it took us a little while, and it caught us. That was the bottom line. We just couldn't get out fast enough. I was the closest to getting out, and so I tried to get out because it was going to have all of us tied up with all of our patrol cars, and officers are going to be out there out of commission. So I tried to get out, and I was crossing a low stretch there on Riverside Drive. There was water on it, but it wasn't a lot of water, and I felt like I could get through it. But as I attempted to cross it, you know, the water rose just really rapidly. You know, you could just almost watch it rise. And before I could get through the area there, it flooded my car out. I got out of the car and left it and went out, and there was a high piece of ground just past it. And there was a firefighter from Gilmer County who had made it to there, and he was stuck there on it. And we attempted to pull the car up with a rope to try to keep it from just being destroyed. And we did so, and was working on pulling it up a second time. And I had gone back to the car to get in it, and at that point we had a tree that was on the riverside of Riverside Drive fell. The tree hit a power line as it went down. I heard the firefighter yell, you know, he hit a tree, and I heard the tree pop as well. As the tree fell, it just sort of slapped me down into the water. And I knew there was a power line in it. I saw the power line as the tree was falling. I knew I was probably, you know, I knew it wasn't going to be good. I just didn't see any outcome that could be good from what I'd saw at that point. So even as I was coming out of the water, you know, I had in my mind I had to get out of the water somehow. And I was in the water probably knee deep, maybe a little more. I remember thinking in my mind that I've got to get up on the trunk of the car. That was the only thing I could see that was, you know, that I could possibly reach. Got hit with the first jolt about the time that thought went through my mind. I don't want to say it knocked me out. It hit me really hard. When I kind of come to my senses, I was up on the trunk of the car, so obviously I had made it that far. But I was getting shocked. There was a lot of electricity in the car itself. The tree, I tried to hold on to the tree up on the trunk there, and it was shocking me. You know, I couldn't hear at all. It had messed up my hearing. It was just everything was a whistle, is the only way I know to describe it. Couldn't see real good. And my vision was kind of blurred, so I know I was kind of, I don't want to say I was totally out of it. I knew what was going on, but I was definitely handicapped a little bit. Call for help on my radio. My radio was underwater, and so I didn't know if the call had gotten out, and I couldn't hear if it was being answered just because I couldn't hear anything. Said a prayer, you know, the good Lord help me out there. Really was able to, you know, kind of come to my senses enough to assess what was going on, and I realized that I was in a bad spot. You know, there was stuff that was in the water that was floating around my patrol car. It was sizzling. The way I know to describe it, it's like bacon in a pan. You know, the limbs and everything would sizzle with the electricity. So I knew when I got off the car that it probably wasn't going to be good. But I also knew that I couldn't stay on the car. You know, now I don't know if I was on the car a minute or 2 minutes. In all honesty, I haven't went back and pulled up the dispatch records to check, but realized, you know, it potentially wasn't going to go good. Called my wife, left her a message at work, you know, just told her that I loved her and, you know, things weren't good, and I was thankful that I'd gotten the opportunity to do that. But made the decision I was going to have to get off the car. You know, I've had people ask me, so well, how could you have jumped into that water knowing there's electricity in it? Because it's no different than jumping out of a burning building. You can only stay so long.
Yeah.
You know, the car was. My fear was, I felt like if I jumped on my own, that maybe I could jump far enough to where, you know, I don't know. I just wanted to leave it on my terms, you know, as far as getting off the car, because I was afraid if I stayed on the car, I was going to get a jolt that was strong enough where I would fall into the water, and I didn't want to do that. So, made the decision I was going to have to jump, and about that time, unknown to me, there was a couple firefighters from Gilmer County had been coming down to help us on a mutual aid response, and they realized what was going on, and they couldn't get in the raft. They had a rubber raft. They couldn't get in it, but they were able to, and again, I credit the good Lord for helping us out, because they were able to get the raft to go upstream with nobody in it. And when I saw the raft, you know, I knew I was going in the raft one way or the other.
Yeah.
So I dove over the top of the car into the raft. And they were able to pull me back up onto the section of road. They'd kept a rope tied to it, and they were able to pull me back up onto the section of the road there that wasn't flooded. Then we went out across and paddled through another section enough to get to the ambulance to get me down to the hospital.
So I know you've had a few days now to maybe kind of get over all the effects of the shock. Is there any lingering effects now?
There's a lot of soreness. For the first couple of days, I was my extremities, you know, my arms from about the elbow down and my legs from the knees down were numb. I can use all that again. My muscles have quit so much twitching and jumping. I'm still pretty bad sore. You know, just kidneys and that type thing. You know, just pretty uncomfortable. But so like I told somebody this morning, you know, I'm just proud that I'm here to hurt. Because
it could have been a whole lot
worse. Short of some intervention from the Lord there, I don't think I'd be here. So.
Yeah, definitely. I know, you know, as chief of police, there's probably been situations before where stuff just happens. How hard was it in that situation to, you know, kind of calm down and think about, you know, everything happening at once to figure out what to do?
I don't know. You know, I think a lot of it is just. I've obviously never been in that particular situation.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, if you do this long enough, the people that last in it long term, you know, probably I just think, you know, you just sort of have the ability to kind of slow things down and take it apart and categorize it into what's got to be done right now and so on and so forth. But that's the only way I know to describe it. You know, in my mind, even with the first shock there, I was able to, you know, I kind of assessed the whole thing and knew nothing was good about it. You know, being able to assess it don't mean you can fix it.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't know. Like I say, I just credit some divine intervention there with it hitting my mind that quick to, hey, jump on the trunk. You know, 'cause that's obviously the only thing you're going to train for. I mean, you know, there's nothing. It would be, I don't know how you'd even draw up a scenario that would put you into that position.
Yeah, it just
there,
sort of happened.
It just happened.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Mr. Callahan.
Yeah, thank you.
We're glad
Appreciate
you're all right.
it. Thank you.